Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is Stretch the Sketch. So this is the 12 by 12 sketch we have to use, and I'm going to squish it down into an 8.5 by 11. I pulled in a couple of these 8.5 by 11 black and white heart papers for this kit. I've had these in my stash for a while. I got them from Hobby Lobby thinking I would use them to stretch Felicity Jane kits just because it looked very Felicity Jane to me. But I had so many of them and I hadn't touched them, so I pulled them into this kit for this month, and I'm happy to be using one. I figured since this is already 8.5 by 11, I would use this as the base for the layout. And I only have one photo instead of three because I am squishing this down, but I'm planning on having my layers kind of create that same look as the three staggered photos in the sketch. So I'm starting by matting this in just simple white. I'm inking in the ground espresso ink, and then I struggled for a while figuring out what I was going to do for the circular element on the sketch. But then I realized that I had these coffee filters that I really wanted to at least get one of them used up this month, and it was really the perfect proportion to create that circular look from the sketch. So I'm using this coffee filter as the circular element. And again, I'm just inking that in the ground espresso as well. But I love the way that looks. It was really the perfect size. And I'm just so happy I got one of them used up. I was determined this month to use one of the coffee filters for this coffee themed kit. And I'm really happy that I did it. So it just takes me a minute to ink the edges. It wasn't wanting to show up because it's already this kind of tan color, but I wanted that slight variation around the edge, and I think that looks really sweet. This ledger print I gutted from the layout you will see on Wednesday. This one you're seeing first since it is for a hop, but that was a nice size for a layer. And then I pulled in another one of these frames from my stash because I really liked that older kind of antique-y text print. I thought that was a nice fun layer around the photo as well. So those are kind of my paper layers, and then there is a horizontal strip running across the page, so I decided to take this scrap of wood grain that I had in my kit to be that layer. You guys know for Stretch the Sketch, even though I'm stretching the sketch into an 8.5 by 11, I'm a 12 by 12 scrapper, so I will mount it on a 12 by 12 paper. And I've recently, through Stretch the Sketch, have wanted to kind of connect them a little more. So if you're making 8.5 by 11, you can clearly see where you would just trim this wood grain to the edge of the paper. But I am going to keep this 12 inches wide because when I do mount it on my 12 by 12 for my album, I want a couple pieces connecting everything. So that's why it looks a little bit longer. I like how the layers are looking. I'm going to go ahead and glue them down, and then I think I will pull in my 12 by 12 soon here because I do have this wood grain that's going to run across the 12 by 12, and I want to make sure I'm going to glue it down right. But I am very, very excited about this 12 by 12. I've had this in my stash for a while. My mom gave me this 12 by 12 of corrugated cardboard, and I've just been waiting for the perfect layout to use it on. And I think for this kit being a coffee themed kit, I had to use it, and I thought this layout in particular, it would just be such a cool 12 by 12 to have behind all of these other layers. So I am going to gut a section of it in case I want to use it in layers for the rest of the month. I'm going to back it in this black, but I just think this is so cool. It adds such a cool texture, and I'm really liking that this page is more monochromatic because there's been a lot of pink layouts this month, and I'm not mad about it, but I'm glad to have a more neutrally non-pink page. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this glued down. And then I think I just have embellishment after this. I feel like I did pretty good for the sketch. There are some like embellishments or there's something on the sketch that kind of circles the circular element, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do for that, but I end up just doing faux stitching around the circle. I think on the smaller scale, if I would have had beads or sequins or something circling this coffee filter on this layout, it just would have been too much. So I think the faux stitching was a good way to get that design element of the sketch, but not do it literally. So you'll see that in a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and get all of this stuff glued down. I know where it's going to go. And I'm so happy I got that coffee filter used up. Sticking all of this down. And then I'm trying to remember what I do next. I know I definitely want to get some wood veneer pieces used up. I love on these kind of more textural brownish layouts pulling in wood veneer. So I do have a couple bits you'll see me pull out from that little embellishment tin for this one. Oh, and I got this trim used up. So this is another one of the white fuzzy trims I had in my kit. And I kind of wanted another pop of white. This 8.5 by 11 heart paper is the only white on the layout. Everything else is more creamy or brown. So I wanted another pop of white so that that heart paper didn't seem like a mistake. And I just think with this photo being dogs, it's kind of nice to have a fuzzy, soft element. This again was in Billy. He was probably 2 months old in this photo, but one of my roommate's friends had a Great Dane that she brought over when she was visiting. And Billy just did not know what to do with her. She was the sweetest dog, but she's so big, and Billy was so tiny at this time. He was just awestruck by her. And it was so funny trying to watch them play because Billy would just try to jump on her and would just fall underneath her because she's so tall. So I definitely wanted to document this. Here's a couple of the wood veneer pieces. I wanted to use one of the wood veneer coffee cups just because we're hanging out at the apartment. It's kind of a cozy day in. I'm pretty sure this was over a weekend, so I think warm beverages just go with that cozy stay-at-home feel, and it's part of the theme for this month. So I did just back it in some white, again, to bring in a little bit more of that white element, but I also didn't want to see the edges of the photo and the mats through the piece. I thought that would be distracting. So I ended up just matting it in white, and now I'm going in with a black pen doing the faux stitching around the coffee filter. And that's just a nod to the sketch. I wanted to incorporate that element in a way that worked on this page. So I just decided to use it like that. And then I will pull in a couple more wood veneer pieces. I thought about using these sweet little black cut files from Lisa because they're black little paw prints. But I'm trying to stick more to the neutrals and the browns on this one. So I ended up going in with some more wood veneer pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this coffee cup down. There are, I have lots of different wood veneer hearts in my stash. So I'll pull a couple of those in, and those are going to serve as my finishing touch the way I would normally use enamel dots. I'm just going to do these little wood veneer hearts. But I thought for my title, I would go ahead and dig into these freckled fawn wood veneer alphas. And I'm just going to spell out friend on the opposite side of the coffee cup. I'm trying to create that visual triangle with the wood veneer. So I have the coffee cup on the left. I'm going to have this spell out friend on the right. And then I will pull in another one of those wood veneer heart banners in the upper right hand corner of the 8.5 by 11 to create that final look. I thought about running them down the side here. I don't know if it was just the spacing was off, but I thought it looked better. You know what it was? It was the eye. I cannot stand when I try to do my title vertically and the letters are not the same width. And there's always an eye that throws off the visual, so I decided to spell it horizontally like normal. I do realize this part is getting a little iffy with Stretch the Sketch because the title is going to run off of the 8.5 by 11 portion of the page. But again, I'm just trying to make this work for the way I scrap with me being a 12 by 12 scrapper. Visually, I just really need it to connect to the 12 by 12, even though the main portion of this layout is supposed to just be an 8.5 by 11. So I realize that, and I'm sorry if that's cheating. But it really fit perfectly in this little gap that I had for this horizontal section. So there's that. And then I think I'm going to go in and find a couple more wood veneer pieces for the top to finish out the visual triangle. And I will do a little bit of journaling on here as well. But here's another one of those banners. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and then I'll go in with a couple different sized hearts. And I'm happy I got some of those used up too. I will forever use wood veneer hearts on my layouts. So I bought a couple packs of various sizes and shapes from Redefine Creative, and I've just slowly been using them. I don't use wood veneer as often as I used to. I feel like I used to get wood veneer on almost every page. So I'm happy to revitalize it a little more this month because I just feel like the wood veneer goes so well with the coffee theme. But just underneath the photo on this ledger paper, I'm just doing a little bit of journaling. It says, my roommate Melinda had a friend visit with her Great Dane, and Billy didn't know what to think of her, but they had a blast playing. And that was August 2011. And here I am with my wood veneer stash, just picking out a couple different hearts to use. And then I just replaced the little heart banner in that tin with a new one because I wanted to remember I still had those to use this month if I wanted to use more. But trying to keep it simple, just trying to stagger a couple different sizes of these hearts just to finish it out. I think those are just really cute. And I'm going to get those glued down. And that's pretty much it. So this was, I saw the sketch and I was like, oh, that's really fun, but that's going to be kind of difficult. And I am just really happy with how it ended up turning out. So very happy about the coffee filter, very happy about the corrugated cardboard 12 by 12 and getting the fuzzy trim used up with all the wood veneer. Just everything about this page makes me happy. And it's just goes to show you again why I love doing these different challenges, because it just makes me create things I wouldn't create on my own and mix things I wouldn't mix on my own. And this is just one of the layouts that I'm just so pleased with because it worked out well. It doesn't always. Last minute, I decided to go around the edge of the corrugated cardboard with the ground espresso ink just for a little bit more depth around the edge. But here's 8.5 by 11, which is what I was supposed to only make. And then here's some close-ups from different angles of the full page. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out everyone else playing along with Stretch the Sketch and see how they interpreted it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.